everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Juliet. Finally doing this, so I thought what better way to start a channel than by doing a little bit of an introduction and doing the end of the year book tag, so that you get to know me a little bit, you get to have an idea what it is that I like in terms of reading. And yes, my name is Juliet. I'm 27, I'm French, and I live in Australia. I've been living in Australia for 5 years now, which feels a little bit crazy to say, like time's just flown. And I love to read. One of the main things about me is I love a good book, and I love watching booktube and just consuming book content, and I've wanted to do this for quite a long time, and I've tried multiple times and just never worked up the courage to actually put it up. But this time this is it. I hope you will find some books that interest you on here. I hope that you will enjoy hearing my opinions on books, and I hope you will share yours with mine. And yes, let's get into the end of the year book tag. And FYI, I'm a little bit chaotic. I don't plan for things extremely well in my life in general, and I thought I'm not gonna plan for this end of the year book tag. I have seen it go around. I've wanted to do the end of the year book tag for a few months, ever since Ariel Bissett, who's the creator of this tag, did it on her podcast with her friend Raylene. The podcast is called Books Unbound. I don't think I need to tell you this. If you're seeing this, you probably know Books Unbound. I love that podcast. It is almost mid-November now, so only a month and a half left of the year. So I know that you're supposed to do it a little bit earlier than that, but that's fine. If you see me looking down, I've got my computer here, and I'm gonna go through the questions. Are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Yes. The first book that comes to mind is my current read, The Mad Ship. And this is the only physical book you're going to see in this video because it's the only one I brought out here to read with me. This is the second book in the Lifeship Traders trilogy by Robin Hobb, very famous fantasy author, very famous fantasy series. This is the second trilogy in the overarching Realm of the Elderlings series, which is a 16-book series. And I started earlier this year with the Farseer trilogy, which I absolutely loved. I just couldn't get enough of the Farseer trilogy, and I bought the whole trilogy for the Lifeship Traders. So now I'm halfway through the second. I'm exactly halfway through this trilogy. So I have to finish that. It's not that I started it and put it down. I am gonna finish it because it's my current read, but therefore it is a book I'm currently reading that I have to finish. Otherwise, I can't really think of a book off the top of my head that I've started and still need to finish. My non-fiction books typically tend to be ongoing for months at a time, and the last one would have fit in this category, but I finished it. So I don't typically start a book and then put it down and then go back to it that much. I will usually start a book if I really don't vibe with it after 50 to 100 pages, then I'll DNF. But I don't really start a book, pause it, and then decide I have to finish it by the end of this year. If I do that, if I pick it up and then I'm like, this is not the right time, I'm never going to tell myself I have to have it done by the end of the year. It's just, I'll read it at another time. But perhaps I'll DNF it at another time as well. So, I don't know. I don't really hesitate to put books down if I really know I'm not going to like them. That's fine. I can read something else. I'm not trying to force myself through a book, and it's just not how I like to spend my reading time. So if I don't like it, I don't like it. That's fine, that's life. It'll be for somebody else, you know? Next question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? So here I should switch that to a spring book. Like I said, I live in Australia, so the seasons are flipped. Here we didn't really get a spring, and because where I live it's really warm, you can probably hear not just the cars, but also the critters and the birds, and it's a subtropical area that I live in, so it's warm. It just goes straight from warmish to warm. Not just warm, to hot and humid. So to me, it's like an extended summer. Also, I'm from north of France, so I'm not used to hot and humid. I'm used to dry heat, and that's it. So it's an adjustment for sure, but therefore my transition book into the summer, that is The Summer That Melted Everything by Tiffany McDaniel. I have read everything by Tiffany McDaniel except for her debut novel. Eddie is one of my favorite books ever, and I really liked her latest release, A Sky Full of Dragons, which is the first in a middle grade fantasy series, which I really loved. I thought it was so sweet. All that to say, I really like this author. I also read On the Savage Side earlier this year. This will be my third Tiffany McDaniel of the year, actually. That's pretty good going. I've actually been waiting for it to get really hot and humid here to read it while it feels like I'm melting because of the title, The Summer That Melted Everything. So I think that'll be my transition book. I guess it's a full-on summer book though, but to me, it fits the transition. I also don't really read by the season, if that makes sense. I don't have to read wintry books in winter, and I don't have to read summery books in summer. I can read them all year long. But for this book, I did want to make the exception. I also didn't just want to binge read all Tiffany McDaniel books all at once, so I've saved this one for now, for this moment in time, and I'm so excited to read it. The third question is there still a new release that you're waiting for? Honestly, the new release I was waiting for was, like I just mentioned, A Sky Full of Dragons by Tiffany McDaniel, so I don't think so. I haven't really been keeping track of new releases in 2024, just because I have a big bookshelf full of unread books. I know if I keep track of new releases too much, then I'll end up with a bigger shelf, because of course I want to read some of the new releases that are coming out. Yeah, the only one I was really anticipating was Tiffany McDaniel's newest, so not really. I don't think I have an answer for that. Question number 4 is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? I would really like to read the second book in the Earthsea trilogy by Ursula K. Le Guin, another fantasy, a middle grade again. I realize that's a lot of middle grades for me in one sitting. I don't actually read a lot of middle grades, but the end of this year has got me in the mood, so I read the first one earlier this year. I would like to read the second one before the end of the year, purely just to stay in there, in that kind of world a little bit. I typically like to read a series almost all at once, but I don't do it that much anymore. I always used to when I was younger. I don't really anymore because I have so many books, and sometimes I burn myself out of the genre, so I'll take a little break, especially fantasy. I read a lot of fantasy. I also want to read Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. I have the French edition with me here, and I don't know what I've been waiting for to read it, but I've been wanting to read it for a long time. I found a pretty cool edition at home. Got it. I was like, this is my chance. I'm going to read it. I'm going to take it back to Australia. I'm going to read it here where I can't find any books in French, and now I'm like saving it for a rainy day. And then a third book I would like to read is probably The Expanse, number 6, I think it's called. Babylon's Ashes by James S.A. Corey. Reading that with one of my best friends. I didn't love book 5, so it didn't really make me want to pick up book 6. But now I'm excited because I'm going to be reading it with her. The 5th book we didn't really read together all that much, so I'm excited to get back into the buddy read. Question number 5 is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite of the year? Probably the ones I mentioned earlier, but it wouldn't be a shock if they became new favorites because they're from favorite authors. So I don't know. There is a book I'm reading right now, or I'm just about to start, for a book club that has just started in my neighborhood, and it's called Transcendent Kingdom by Ya Gyasi. It might be one of those new favorites, new unexpected favorites, and especially discussing it with other people, I guess, will help me get deeper into the themes and everything. So I guess I'm going to be looking at it with a more critical eye because I'm reading it for a book club. So I think, yeah, that one probably has the potential to. become your favorite. Alright, now for the final question. Have you already started making reading plans for 2025? I guess yes. I would like to not buy any books for the first 3 months of the year, at least, because I have a big pile of books at home. I've also just joined a book club, so I'm going to be reading some books that I assume are not going to be on my shelf currently, so I'm going to try and borrow those from the library, although I'll be fine buying them, to be honest. I just want to try and not buy any books just on a whim, and then I would like to basically finish the books that are on my shelves that I have bought but I have not read yet. So that could take me half a year. That's how many books I have that are unread on my shelves. Very easily could take me well into 2025. I guess I want to finish the series that I'm in the middle of, so I want to finish the Lightship Traders trilogy. I don't want to finish the Realm of the Elderlings in 2025, particularly because it is a lot of books and I do want to savor them. I'll make an exception on not buying any more books if they are the next in a series and I'm loving it and I can't wait for the next one. I will make an exception for that because otherwise it'll get me out of that series feeling and then I won't enjoy it as much. I want to read books that my friends have recommended to me because I'm always recommending books to my friends and they're reading them and then I'm not reading the ones that they recommend me. I have them on my shelf, I just haven't read them yet. So in 2025 I want to rectify that. Also books recommended by my dad. He recommends me lots of books. And I recommend him lots of books as well, which he always reads, and then I'm really slow at reading his recommendations. I feel like I want to make plans, I want to be ambitious. I don't know if ambitious is the word, but I want to make plans for my reading, but then it's a mood that I'm in where I want to make plans, and in reality, am I actually going to follow the plan? Probably not. Maybe I should make a proper reading plan. Now that's gonna have me thinking about it. I guess I want to broaden a little bit of my reading horizon. I'm not the best and most well-read reader. I don't read every single genre under the sun, but I do read a fair amount of, I don't know, fantasy, science fiction, historical, literary / contemporary. I'm getting a little bit into the thrillers, but very, very little by little. I'll read a romance or two a year. Like I think I read a little bit of everything with a strong focus on fantasy sci-fi. That is true. I think that will always remain true. But I do love my historical fiction as well. So I guess this is what you can expect to see from me. And maybe I should try and make some reading goals around those genres. Let me know what you think. If you have any reading plans for 2025, what are they? If you want to answer any of these questions in the comments, that'll be great. I would love to hear your answers and get to know people on here. It's really exciting to actually finally be doing this. Please bear with me as I find my bearings, literally, and I look forward to sharing bookish thoughts with you all. And yeah, thank you so much for watching.